Hi, first graders. Today we are going to read The Light Around Us and we are going to do a key details lesson. So first we're going to read and then you need to have this key details chart handy because we're going to look at some key details from each chapter and record them on our chart. So first we'll read, this is called The Light Around Us. We previewed this book yesterday in our lesson, so today we're going to go ahead and read it. Think about what we did yesterday and how we made some predictions about what we might learn in this text and what type of text this is going to be. Okay, our first part is the introduction. We use light every day. Flashlights, lamps, and headlights help people see at night. Sunlight and fire provide heat. Light is all around us. Why do we need light? Where does light come from? In this book, we will learn about how different objects give off light. Okay, so that's an important sentence right there. It tells us exactly what we're going to learn. In this book, we will learn about how different objects give off light. Keep that in mind as we're reading. Let's look at the captions. This football field uses light at night. Where is the light coming from in this picture? That's right, the fire is producing light. Chapter 1, Seeing Objects. Our eyes cannot see in the dark. We need light around us to see. We use light and our eyes to tell the shape and color of objects. Sunlight and fire give off their own light. Light bulbs give off light also. Light shines on other objects so we can see them. Light allows us to see things in the dark. Light helps us to know where we are going. Okay, and what can you see in this picture that's giving off light? What other kinds of light can you think of? How can we use each of these sources of light? Think about times when you use a lamp, a flashlight, sunlight, and fire. All four of those give off light. Chapter 2, How Light Moves. Light moves in a straight line. Some objects allow light to pass through. Other objects block light. Light passes all the way through clear objects such as glass. Light passes partly through cloudy objects such as wax paper. And here's some arrows. These are showing the light. Most of our light on Earth comes from the sun. Light moves all the way through the glass. The wax paper blocks some of the light from passing through. Did you know light is a kind of energy? And this is looking at the structure of this text. It's comparing things side by side so that we can tell the difference between the clear water and the opaque wax paper. Light cannot pass through solid objects such as wood. The object blocks the light. When an object blocks light, a shadow is formed. The shadow is the same shape as the object. Light bounces off the wood. It does not go through the wood. When light shines on the front of you, a shadow forms behind you. Chapter 3, Exploring Light. You can explore light and how it moves. Find different objects. Observe how much light passes through each one. And here are some examples. A teddy bear, a fishbowl, and a shower curtain. Which of these objects can make a shadow? Think about what we learned on the last page. Go ahead and predict. Light bounces off mirrors and other shiny objects. You can see yourself in the object. What shiny objects can you find? Protecting eyes. Do not shine a light into the face of a person or an animal. When light bounces off a mirror, you see the object that is in front of the mirror. Conclusion. Light is important in everyday life. Light helps people see in the dark, and some sources of light provide heat. Light can pass through different objects all the way, part of the way, or not at all. These boys use a flashlight at night to read. What other objects can light pass through? And this is showing glasses, all the light passes through. This cup, part of, and these blocks, not at all. Right, here's our glossary with some words. Clear can be seen through, cloudy can be seen through partially, light, energy that allows us to see objects. A shadow is a dark area formed when light is blocked. Shines, sends lights to other objects. Straight, moving in one direction without bending. And it tells you the page numbers that those words were used on if you want to go back. This biography connection is about Thomas Alva Edison. He was born in February 11th, 1847. He died on October 18th, 1931, and he was born in Milan, Ohio. What did he do? Thomas Alva Edison invented the first system for sending electric light to homes and businesses. How did he do it? For years, Edison conducted research. He tried many new ideas. In the 1880s, his work paid off. He was the first person to find a way to use electricity for light. Edison's contribution. Many of Edison's inventions changed our lives. The use of light bulbs changed the way people live and work. So he invented the light bulb. Okay, now we are going to look at our key details chart that was in your packet. It looks like this, so go ahead and have that out. And we're going to go back and find some key details from each chapter. So let's turn back to chapter 1, and chapter 1 was about seeing objects. Okay. Our eyes cannot see in the dark. We need light around us to see. We use light and our eyes to tell the shape and color of the objects. Sunlight and fire give off their own light. Light bulbs give off light also. Light shines on other objects so we can see them. Okay, that was all of chapter 1. So now think about a sentence that you could write telling what you think was the important part of chapter 1. Think about what the title was. The title is Seeing Objects. What helps us see objects? Our eyes and light, right? So let's write that. We use light and eyes to see. Okay, and then can you write some examples of ways that we get light? Go ahead and list the examples that we learned about. We use light bulbs, which are flashlights and lamps, sunlight, and fire. Okay, let's go to chapter 2. Oops. Forgot to uncover that. Let me uncover this for you so you can see. Okay, we use light in our eyes to see, and we use light bulbs, sunlight, and fire as sources of light. Okay, let's look back at chapter 2. How light moves. So the heading is a clue about what we should listen for in key details. Light moves in a straight line. Some objects allow light to pass through. Other objects block light. Light passes all the way through clear objects such as glasses. Light passes partly through cloudy objects such as wax paper. Light cannot pass through solid objects such as wood. The object blocks the light. When an object blocks light, a shadow is formed. The shadow is the same shape as the object. Okay, so this chapter talked about how light moves. Your first detail can be about how light moves. Reread the first sentence to recall how light moves. Light moves in I'm going to leave that word for you. We find it in the text. How does it move? In a what line? And then we learned how light can pass through objects in 3 different ways. Light passes all the way, part of the way, or not at all through objects. Okay, now let's go to chapter 3. Exploring light. Remember to always use the heading to think about what key details are in the text. You can explore light and how it moves. Find different objects. Observe how much light passes through each one. Light bounces off mirrors and other shiny objects. You can see yourself in the object. What shiny objects can you find? Okay, that was chapter 3. So let's recall some key details from chapter 3. This was about you exploring some light. Okay, and it told us that light bounces off mirrors. And then it asks you to explore how much light passes through each of the objects in the text. So what I want you to do here is you're going to write the 3 objects, teddy bear, and then you're going to tell me how much light do you think passes through. A fishbowl and a shower curtain. Okay. Think about those 3 objects and what you learned from the text and tell me if the light passes all the way, part of the way, or not at all through these 3 objects. Okay, that's your job to do on your own for the key details from chapter 3. Okay, thank you for joining me for this lesson. Good job helping recall key details from the text.